Goodbye 2023 and hello to 2024. Woohoo! In all honesty, 2023 might have been the craziest year in all of professional wrestling. The Bloodline storyline was at its peak before it got stale. WWE and UFC joined forces. New Japan Pro Wrestling is starting to look extinct because AEW keeps poaching all of its top talent. Cough, cough, Will Ospreay. Cough, cough. Ronda Rousey had her unceremonious exit from WWE before, honestly, we don't know where she is. AEW All In broke attendance records. Edge, nope, sorry. Adam Copeland is now All Elite. CM Punk returned. Then he got fired. Then he returned again. But honestly, let's just see how that lasts, okay? And of course, the hundreds of awesome wrestling matches, because that's the only thing that we came to see and nothing else. Not gonna lie, I was exhausted for weeks trying to put this list together, but hopefully my energy levels are back to 100%. So anyways, let's kick this off with a bang and let the fireworks release. I'm Sean Paul, aka the Sports King, and these are my top 10 favorite wrestling matches of 2023. Number 10, Backlash, Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny in a San Juan street fight. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Seriously, Sean, multiple award-winning Latino rap artist Bad Bunny, what's he doing on a list like this? Well, he may not look like it, but Benito can actually go in the ring. And in this street fight match against former best friend Damian Priest, for a celebrity going into this match, he just did amazing, all right? It was just good. He was busting out moves like he was already in the business, and then when he wasn't on the offensive, he took a lot of damage too, and getting Falcon Arrow through 2 tables. Like, come on, how many celebrities do you know would be willing to take a beating like that? And then we get to the fun part. Carlito shows up, Savio Vega shows up like an angry grandpa out there to discipline his grandkids. Judgment Day and LWO gang warfare, that Puerto Rican crowd throughout the match, by the way, best wrestling crowd I've ever seen before. It's just a fun time at the office, that's all. And if you think Bad Bunny wrestling is crazy, just look at Logan Paul's matches. What crazy times we're living in, am I right? Number 9, NXT No Mercy, Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship. One of the biggest stories of 2023 was the resurgence of NXT. Now sure, it isn't the same NXT as it was during the Black and Gold days, but with booking under Shawn Michaels and heaps of talent, it's starting to have a little renaissance. And out of all those heap of talents, Ilya Dragunov is definitely my favorite. We all know wrestling is fake, scripted, whatever you want to call it, but apparently Ilya Dragunov didn't get that memo, as he decided to make wrestling as brutal as possible, putting his life on the line in every single match. There were a ton of Dragunov matches to choose from, including that epic last man standing match against Dijak at NXT Battleground, but I ultimately went with his clash against Carmelo Hayes at NXT No Mercy. The story here was simple. Dragunov was looking to fulfill his destiny, while Carmelo Hayes was trying to maintain his title and his dynasty. However, if Hayes was ever going to get out of this match survive, he had to get on Dragunov's level, and boy did he do so, as these two tried to beat the calcium out of each other's bones. Dragunov has shown us once more that he is indeed one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and anyone who is missing out needs to hop on the Dragunov train immediately. Long live the Tsar. Number 8, All Out, Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship. 2023 was a rocky year for AEW, to say the least. CM Punk returned after the drama that was All Out 2022, but more backstage drama, cough, cough, Jack Perry, cough, cough, led to his termination a few months later. Apart from a few bright spots, the women's division continues to be disrespected, and overall, the product doesn't feel like the AEW we're used to. But my favorite storyline of the year was the reign of Orange Cassidy. For those who don't know, Cassidy is a comedy wrestler where the gimmick is he doesn't seem to care, but once that switch turns, he suddenly becomes one of the best wrestlers on the entire planet. He always has the capability of putting on great matches, but 2023 was a whole different year for him, taking a belt like the International Championship that absolutely no one cared about, and all of a sudden turning it into one of the main pieces of AEW. Week after week, month after month, Cassidy showed us what the definition of a workhorse champion truly is, putting his belt on the line anywhere and any day. But the wear and tear of his body was gradually becoming too much for him, and would soon later have to face his toughest opponent, the master of Death Jutsu, Jon Moxley. Despite the pain on his body and the beating he was taking from Mox all throughout the match, the King of Sloth Style refused to back down, doing everything in his power to retain the championship that made him what he was today. Even though he would eventually get the throne, Cassidy showed us all what a true champion looks like. Number 7, Collision, July 15th. FTR vs. Bullet Club Go in a 2 out of 3 falls tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. They did it. Those top guys somehow pulled off another instant classic. By now, FTR has to be in consideration for one of the greatest wrestling tag teams of all time, with their old school approach to the sport even appeasing to more old school wrestling fans. After having one of the greatest years ever for a wrestling tag team in 2022, thanks to their epic matches against the Young Bucks and the Briscoes, R.I.P. Jay, we miss you, man. FTR looked to continue their winning ways in 2023. After winning the AEW World Tag Team Championship titles against the Guns in April, honestly, I forgot the Guns honestly won it. Everything calmed down for a few months until this match on AEW's brand new show, when Cash and Dax went up against the Bang Bang Gang's very own Jay White and Juice Robinson in a 2 out of 3 falls for the tag straps. This is tag team wrestling at its peak. The match went almost for an hour, yet it never seemed to dull my interest. Each fall felt like a very own different match with its own unique style to it. The chemistry was off the charts with both these two teams. Jay and Juice were especially good with their heelish antics, with Jay tuning up the band in Canada, no less. I mean, if you get the reference, because, you know, Shawn Michaels and, you know, Canada. But honestly, all of it is just good stuff. This is one of the greatest tag team wrestling matches of all time, and it shows why tag team wrestling is truly a special showcase to watch. Number 6, WrestleMania 39, Night 2. Gunther vs. Sheamus vs. Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Meat, and more meat. Gunther and Sheamus already had a banger of a match at Clash at the Castle 2022, so now when you add a guy like Drew McIntyre into the fray, oh, do you have something special on your hands. The match is simple yet effective. Big meaty men hitting each other with their big meaty moves everybody likes and cheers. I mean, look at this. It looks like Drew is about to have his entire back blown out. Also adding to the match, the story of Drew and Sheamus's deteriorating relationship, because apparently both men want the same thing, and unsurprisingly, the relationship crumbles because, well, both men want the same thing, which gives this match a more personal touch. Gunther may look like a bank manager who's gone off the deep end, but he is the real deal. He is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and that is a hill I am definitely willing to die for on. Gunther for World Champion in 2024. Make it happen. Number 5, Wrestle Kingdom 17, Night 1, Will Ospreay vs. Kenny Omega for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. The dream match that we all wanted, and it did not disappoint. And the match was totally different than what we expected. Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, but he always seems to be on the short end of the stick in the big moments. He lost his junior heavyweight title at the Tokyo Dome to Takahashi in 2020. He lost to Okada at the Tokyo Dome twice. He also lost to Okada at the G1 Climax Final 2022. And when he was finally world champion in 2021, a neck injury forced him to vacate after only 46 years. Ospreay is incredible, but circumstances have prevented him from being, the top guy. And that is what Omega used to get inside Woods' head. That despite all of his accomplishments, Ospreay will never be on the same level Kenny Omega is. And Ospreay was determined to prove Kenny wrong. The match started off evenly paced, but after Omega hit a DDT on Ospreay on the exposed top turnbuckle, it was all Kenny after that. Omega just kept beating Ospreay into a bloody pulp minute after minute. But Ospreay wasn't going to back down that easily. As he attempted a few hope spots of his own, Ospreay would attempt to make a comeback, but eventually the pain was too much for him to bear, and soon the Kingpin would have no choice but to fall to the cleaner. Number 4. Revolution, MJF versus Bryan Danielson, and a 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. Iron Man matches are very hard to get into, honestly, because, they can drag out for far too long and nothing exciting happens until the end, i.e. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels at Mania 12, which, by the way, is overrated for all you old school wrestling fans. Hey, don't hate me, that's just me, all right? So when this match was announced for AEW Revolution, fans had mixed feelings. Of course, everyone knows Danielson could go, as he's one of the greatest workhorse wrestlers of all time, but many people were skeptical about MJF, especially since, he doesn't wrestle on the scale that Danielson does it. But it's safe to say that these two managed to pull it off and create the greatest Iron Man match of all time. The taunting, the psychology, the storytelling, the big moves, the selling, it's basically everything you want in a wrestling match. And MJF is so good on the mic that people forget that he's actually a very good wrestler, and having him not only go toe-to-toe against the GOAT in many people's eyes, including me, but also beat him, albeit with cheating, because it elevated Friedman's stock even more in AEW. This match was just an all-around chef's kiss. Mwah! Number 3. WrestleMania 39 Night 1, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The best match at WrestleMania 39 Night 1, the best match of the overall weekend, and arguably the best WWE Women's match of all time. While the main event of Usos versus KO and Sami at Night 1 was elevated by this story, this one was elevated by, two women just wanting to beat the absolute crap out of each other. The match starts off slow at first, but the fans are rewarded for their patience as the match kicks into high gear very quick and very fast. Both women bring their A game into this match and make you want to consider, is pro wrestling a career choice you want to pursue? The daughter of Ric Flair took some absolutely crazy bumps in this match, including a German suplex in which she landed straight on her face on the mat. I mean, honestly, she could have broken her neck or something, right? And Rhea Ripley winning this match cemented herself as one of the best wrestlers in all of WWE. Remember, folks, mommy is always on top. No, okay, yep, that sounded wrong. Let's just move on. That sounded wrong. I am so sorry. Number 2, Full Gear, Swerve Strickland versus Adam Page in a Texas death match. As Homer Simpson would put it, sweet, merciful crap. According to Benjamin Franklin, there are 3 things in life that are certain for everyone: death, taxes, and having a millennial cowboy who's on a mean street grab you by your hair while your blood is pouring inside of his mouth and spits it out Triple H style. I mean, good jeez. Paige, hopefully he went to see a doctor after this match, honestly. This match was just so brutal, and yet you just couldn't keep your eyes off of it because they just seemed to top everything off. From the vampiric blood drinking spot to Swerve Strickland taking a staple gun like a champ to barbed wire all over the place, including Paige having a piece of barbed wire scrape over his hip, by the way, to a Death Valley driver on a cinder block, to barbed wire tables, and then ending with Swerve hanging the Hangman. This match was just an artistic display of violence. It didn't need to go this far, but for two men that absolutely hated each other with a passion, this match was definitely necessary. And number one, AEW New Japan Forbidden Door, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. The sequel to Omega versus Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 17, and like with most sequels, it absolutely ruled. Well, almost all sequels rule. Son of the Mask, Batman and Robin, you get the idea. Now, before I get onto the positives of this match, let's just get this out of the way. The Don Callis stuff was very stupid. Don Callis was ejected from the match. Then he comes back. The referee tells him, get backstage. And then Callis just stays at ringside. Like, what? I mean, it make more sense if Callis, tried to interfere, and then he gave the screwdriver to Ospreay, and then, he just went backstage. But no, he stays at ringside for the rest of the match, which is stupid. However, I'm a very positive person, and that one thing alone isn't going to ruin my experience, but because this match was just all the hype it was. But this time, with the roles reversed, Omega was coming in as the hometown hero in his home country of Canada, and Ospreay, willing to do anything to get even with Ospreay, made a deal with the devil himself, Don Callis. This match was just all the hype and was just so much fun. From Ospreay paying back Omega for the massacre he suffered at Wrestle Kingdom 17, to Ospreay licking Kenny's own blood from his elbow, to lots of crazy shenanigans with the Canadian flag, including Ospreay rubbing it between his, you don't want to know, to Omega trying to hang Ospreay with the Canadian flag, the greatest kick out at one possibly of all time after Kenny kicked out of his own finisher, the one-winged angel, to Omega taking a Tiger Driver, landing on his neck like a champion. This was just spectacular, incredible, whatever word you want to use. If these two ever want to run it back again, and hopefully they will run it back again, it better be as good as those two matches. And that's it, folks. Hopefully 2024 will have more of the same thing. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a like, and why not subscribe? It's totally free, it costs nothing, and hey, while you're at it, why not check out some of these matches for yourself? I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Anyways, thanks for having me, and I'll see you later.